Where in your life have you tried to push your energy into a situation? Where in your life have you tried to open and envelop around a situation? Because that's when we are using our auric power, our auric structure, our energy field in a way that's neither good nor bad, but genuinely decreases our life force, makes us less healthy, vital, and alive. When we settle into what is genuinely, truly a beautifully quiet core of life force, and we allow that to become still, then we can discern correct recognition. And then we can discern again correct invitation. And then we keep our discernment open throughout the invitation so that the instant it changes, we say, oh, wait, maybe I'm no longer being correctly recognized. Maybe this is no longer a correct recognition and invitation. And then we get to discern yet again. Wow. Welcome everyone to April's Human Design Projectors Society gathering. Our theme is rootedness. Each month, the theme provides us with a window through which to experience and view and think about and become curious about our own projector nature. I wanted to share what it is the Human Design Projector Society is all about. When I received the inspiration for this community, it was inspired by these ideas. I don't know about you, but most of my life, I've really been able to see that human consciousness is evolving. And so according to Human Design source materials, projectors are the type that's on the ascendancy. It's not completely clear. There has been some sharing that it's not so much that we're here to take charge, be large and in charge the way that the manifestors originally were in building civilization, or the way that generators can be because all of their generative life force is building civilization and society. Our kind of ascendancy is going to be about genuinely being rooted in the true nature of the projector. When we are truly rooted and really have come heart to heart with what it means to genuinely be a projector and why that is frankly the coolest way to be, and it's not shade on any other type. It's just so often being a projector is sort of introduced like, oh, you poor thing. You have inconsistent sacral. You have to wait for recognition and invitation. Oh, that's so sad. It must be, it can feel very disempowering when you first learn you're a projector. And so when we genuinely understand the nature of being a projector, it's pretty mind-blowing how genuinely powerful our nature is, and the way that we come into alignment, harmony, really coherence with our true power is through learning our type, our strategy, our authority, our profile, channels, gates, definition, all those sorts of things. So once we do that, we then are in a position to support that builder majority, the generators specifically, so that they can evolve their consciousness. Now, they can do it on their own. They don't have to have us. It's not that they can't do it without us. However, projectors and generators are beautifully designed to work together. We are the advisors who can guide once we are correctly recognized and invited, and they are the ones who we can advise and guide about how to respond to life and really generate all that energy and all that doing. So there is an element, it's inherent in human design, that our two types are well made for one another. But if we want generators to actually correctly recognize and invite us to truly do what we are genuinely designed for, then they absolutely have to correctly recognize and see us. And I'm sure all of us have experienced different moments where we may see a generator recognizing us, but it's not truly correct for us. It's not true correct recognition. And then the question is, how do we discern that? In the end, the more we know ourselves, the more we understand the beauty, the brilliance, and the power of being a projector, the more likely that generators will actually be able to see us because we see ourselves first. And so it's our deconditioning and it's living in alignment with our design fully, which is our true self. That's where we get to fully embody that destiny as guides. And, I'm a self-projected projector. So I think for me, it's really easy to see how self-recognition is the foundation of deconditioning. And it's actually the heart of what this community is here to do. So again, our theme is rootedness. And, I think it's pretty common to imagine, really sturdy, strong tree, not moving, being just like gripping the ground with every ounce of its roots, right? When in fact, what we're going to explore is what is rootedness when it's not rigidity, right? And because of our projector nature, rigidity isn't a good fit for us. Now, that may be true for all types, but really all we're here to talk about today is rootedness, not as rigidity, not as gripping tightly, not as bracing against life and the world, but a whole different experience of rootedness. And for that, I thought I would share this from the Tao Te Ching. When we are born, we arrive soft, supple, open. When we die, we grow stiff and hard. What is truly rooted sways, what is merely hard breaks. And so if we can accept, embrace, and genuinely love that we are here to sway rather than become hard and fixed, armoring ourselves against the world, then we actually have a chance at being fully enlivened by life and by our experience of being projectors. Because in my sense of life, this is the form that each of us chose in this incarnation. Somewhere, on some level, in the ultimate, universal field of consciousness, I made the agreement that this time I was going to do it this way with this form, and this form exudes, radiates its own kind of energy. And for projectors, it's described beautifully in Human Design, the system. Our rootedness arises through awareness and discernment. So we're not here to use like force to push. If you've heard that projectors have been impersonating manifestors and generators probably our whole lives. There is a surface layer of that, which is that we impersonate them by doing a lot, by being very busy, like by trying to respond to life or trying to initiate incorrectly. However, on a deeper layer, if you look at the auric structure of each type, manifestors, their aura is described as closed and repelling, but that is also what you experience when they feel like you're trying to control them. When they are not experiencing that control, their aura simply just sort of moves into the space. It expands into the space. It impacts the space. They don't push it. They don't force it. It's genuinely the nature of their aura. And generators, their aura is this beautifully open, enveloping, radiating, right? Sort of light, force around them, coming from that defined sacral. And so they also don't need to push out into the world. The world will come to them. So when we talk about projectors impersonating manifestors or generators, think about in terms of where in your life have you tried to push your energy into a situation? Where in your life have you tried to like open and envelop around a situation? Because that's when we are using our auric power, our auric structure, our energy field in a way is neither good nor bad, but genuinely decreases our life force, makes us less healthy, vital, and alive, and also ends up bringing us lots of resistance, which then we experience bitterness about. So when we genuinely connect to the idea and the truth, really, that we're not energy beings, we are awareness beings. Reflectors are also awareness beings. Again, manifestors and generators, energy beings, we are awareness beings. And yet the whole world wants us to behave like an energy being, to do, impact, right? When in fact, when we settle into what is genuinely, truly a beautifully quiet core of life force, and we allow that to become still, then we can discern correct recognition. And then we can discern again correct invitation. And then we keep our discernment open throughout the invitation so that the instant it changes, we say, oh, wait, maybe I'm no longer being correctly recognized. Maybe this is no longer a correct recognition and invitation. And then we get to discern yet again. So for us, staying really deeply rooted in that silent, deep, discerning, powerful core of our energy field, our awareness and our discernment, that is where we get to experience that signature success that all projectors light up about, right? Even when you didn't know you were a projector, I don't know about you, but like for me, I have another really good friend. When I introduced her to human design and her projector nature, she was like, oh my God, I know, I love success. Like the smallest thing, like reorganizing the pantry. She's like, oh my God, I feel successful. So there's, it's just got a special juice for us, right? Not that manifestors, generators, and reflectors don't experience success. It's just for us, it's kind of the sign from the universe that, oh, yeah, I'm harmonic, I'm coherent, I'm in tune. Here's just another thought that softness is not a loss of power. Softness is our power. And that can be very challenging in, most of the world, right? Because probably you've heard the same kinds of things that I have growing up, like tough it out, stick to it, put your mind to it, chin up, all those phrases that tell you harden, brace against life, or grip things so they don't get away. So we think of the rootedness, the roots of a plant. I don't think we consciously think of it, but I think the impression is that roots grip the ground and they help the tree brace against weather. When in fact, the latest beautiful scientific research and discovery is that the healthiest root system is the one that is most alive and aware. In fact, if you've seen the movie Fantastic Fungi or Kiss the Ground or have, come across regenerative agriculture, the whole awareness is that the soil is alive and the roots are alive as well. And when they are communicating, collaborating, when they are aware of what's going on in the soil around them, they don't harden, they don't brace, they don't cling or grip onto things. They actually sense where the nutrients are, where the collaborations are correct, and where they are not. And that's where they give their energy and life force. And it's those deeply rooted, vibrant, very resilient, fluid, and soft partnerships under the soil. That's actually what makes the tree the healthiest, the most vibrant, and ultimately most powerful. 30 years ago, when I started really exploring all of this inner work and, what does it mean to become more a conscious person, there wasn't very much research or science. It was all woo-woo, right? It was all new age or woo-woo stuff. And what I'm so happy is that now it's like, oh, what once would have been called really weird and fantasy, the science goes, oh no, that's actually here. That's what it is. So human consciousness is evolving. It's not perfect. It's not going in a straight line every time, but we're moving along because we are starting to let awareness take its place because it was always doing, doing, doing. How much impact can you make? How much can you get done? And so just to give ourselves that opportunity to consider what is it like when we stop holding ourselves to that old, rigid standard. Here are some questions. Where have you mistaken bracing for grounding, right? Bracing being that sort of like, okay, I'm not going to let life, that tree that's like, doesn't want the wind to knock it over. How many times in your life did someone try to tell you that that's what being grounded was all about? So where do we harden from fear? And where do we trust the softness of our projector awareness? Again, softness is not a highly favored quality in the current cultural paradigm. If you're soft, you're weak, right? If you're soft, you're vulnerable. And particularly as projectors, we can't help it. Our aura, when we choose to focus on someone, is going to penetrate their energy field and it will absorb their energy. And as Ra has described, we don't just absorb it or feel it, we ingest that energy, right? So for us, softness can seem like a really bad choice, and yet it's exactly what we're here to do. The power that we have as projectors is to say no to the recognitions and invitations that are not going to feed us well. And what in your design roots you to your true self? All right. Our next gathering, as you'll see in the membership community, is May 25th, and our theme is emergence. So I'm very excited to show up and share and hear your experiences and observations. It has been absolute delight to have all of you here today. I just wish you so much empowerment in yourselves. Oh, thank you, Christina. I'm so glad you could be here. Thank you for the hearts, everyone. All right. Be well.
Thank you.